Chief Deputy Ryan Sperling and Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury. Morning, guys.
Morning.
How are you
Mason
doing?
County's finest.
Hold up for folks going to watch the video here. We have a great picture that was presented to the Mason County Sheriff's Office from, who is this again, Sheriff?
This is the USA Olympic Games runners that ran all over the country.
That's beautiful.
That's the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. One of the guys had made gifts for each, so we exchanged some things back and forth.
Oh,
I have
very
on my
cool.
official pins. Those will go with that. I just wanted to show you our
noticed
pins.
that. Very
That's the
nice.
USA Olympic Games pins, the Washington State and the United States Games. So
And
Very
this picture was significant because that's the location apparently where the gentleman who wrote the America the Beautiful, that's where he was sitting when he wrote it.
Wow.
So that was
Saw
the
the-
significance of that.
It's a
Purple
beautiful
Mountains
picture.
Majesty
Yep.
and all that.
So these pins will go into that, and they'll be in our office as a reminder for our participation and to motivate us to get ready to keep going for next year.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
you go.
And we played a piece just last hour about some of the runners involved in the Special Olympics and all.
Did you see the openings up there in Seattle and
pretty
the
cool stuff.
Apollo Onyo and all the other athletes that were up there? What a great thing that is.
Oh, I know.
We're really
That
glad
was
It
to-
was well attended.
Yes,
It really was.
we're really thrilled to be able to have a part in putting some money into that from our community.
Got the 4th of July holiday coming up this weekend. A lot of folks will be in the community. Since it's the middle of the week, I'm sure the whole week we'll see an increase in visitors heading out to the waterways. What is the Sheriff's Office doing to help protect those both off and on land? And then some other updates. You guys have been really busy this weekend.
We really have been busy. Friday was kind of crazy for us with the pursuit of a stolen vehicle. The individual pointed a gun at our officers and ended up shooting a flare gun. Crashed. We did a pursuit with the dog. We were not able to locate him, but we believe we know who that person is. So we'll be
good.
following up on that.
Sure.
And that at the same time, we were rescuing somebody off of Mount Eleanor who fell off of a 15-foot face.
Oh,
And we were helping with the fire department, and you're taking those resources up that mountain as well as
Yeah.
dealing with the stuff on the streets. And then yesterday we had an attempted abduction. This morning we've got dogs that we're trying to find owners for because they were
Wow.
on John's Prairie causing a bit of a traffic problem.
what is happening? No,
We had,
get-
and then the
get
other thing, we
crazy.
had over 71 volunteers from lots of different counties help us to try to locate Mr. Akeley on that search.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they spent most of the day yesterday doing that, and it was a tremendous effort, but we found nothing.
Oh,
For folks who've maybe seen this, at least dramatized on television, it's, and stop me when I'm wrong here, but like a line of folks, they travel through the designated area and they are looking in their own little, it's kind of grid pattern, right? It's a grid thing, and they kind of look in their line and everybody moves together and looks for any sort of...
Pretty similar to that. That sounds almost more like an evidence search
Yeah.
when we're doing little small areas. We're looking for something larger than a little piece of evidence. So it's a little bit wider than that. But yes, you do cover grids and make sure that areas are covered as you move through. It's not necessarily shoulder to shoulder, but on an evidence search, sometimes when you're looking for evidence, you'll be shoulder to shoulder, arm's length away, and every little square is covered. But we're obviously looking for objects larger than that, a person, and so it's not quite that.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and it's very, very detail oriented. You have somebody in a control or command post, and he's assigning every team to specific grids to search them from front to back, and then they report back whether they found anything, and it's very involved.
Although we have volunteers out there, we still have some of our staff out there.
Sure.
They're our coordinators. And again, we talk about this over and over and over again about overtime. Somebody's got to be out there.
Right.
And we don't get a choice during the year when something like this happens to say, sorry, we're not coming because we're not paying overtime. The other piece that lends into that is you were talking about the busyness. I keep having people ask me, how are you going to do more next year with less people? How are we going to keep the same level of service? Well, I'm noting that we lost 2 more deputies in the last couple of weeks that have chosen to go somewhere else because of they're concerned about the budget levels and losing their jobs. Every year it's a big guessing game, and they're gone. That's 17 less people than we had last year.
Wow.
If there was 3 less of you, how much more efficient would you run this office? And so, and then we've had numerous calls. I know the chief is trying to accommodate, but we've had numerous private citizens groups, different lakefront groups, and then calling and asking, we want a deputy for the 4th. We want a deputy for the 4th. We simply do not have enough people to cover all those, and to have people on shifts. The other day when Chief was talking, there was 24, I think I was correct, I know there's over 20. At one point there was 24 calls for service on the screen in addition to what was going on, 911 calls in addition to what was going on with the calls that Chief was talking about.
Oh, wow.
You only have so many people. There's no way you can be more efficient with 17 less people.
The sheriff's
No.
office responds to over 20,000 911 calls the last couple of years.
Oh, my
Over a
goodness.
course of a year, you spread that over 365, 24/7. There's days, very common, we'll have over 100 911 calls where we respond to.
Wow.
That's
Probably
a lot.
picks up a lot too in the summer times when there's more activities going on and a lot of
Especially
folks
this
here.
week, like you said, with
Warmer
the 4th being the
weather,
middle of the
probably.
week. The fireworks have already started.
Yeah.
You know, people say make them illegal, write everybody a ticket. Let me throw one more out there. This is 30 some years now of doing this. Every year, somebody wants the neighbor's written a ticket.
Sure.
You have to be there to observe it. It's really tough to be at 62,000 different people that you're trying to govern in the middle of the night when we have, oftentimes there are 2 to 3 times more calls than we have deputies on for it. It's mathematically and physically impossible to make it to every single one of those. And it's very, very challenging. And when you get there, they're convinced that it's this person that did it, but are they willing to give a statement? Did they actually see it happen? And you can't sit at one house all night just waiting for one person to shoot their fireworks
Right.
off. So, you know, it's tough to cover it all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're doing our best out there, that's
Yeah.
for sure. It seems like with it falling on a Wednesday, that means we have 2 4th of July
Yes.
weekends.
Yeah. That's a
it was busy
Right.
around my house. My poor dog this weekend was suffering just because of the noise and things.
Oh, I
And
heard
so-
some in Olympia
Oh, yeah,
over
no,
the
there's been
weekend,
some
so
big booms
already
all
heard
over the
some.
place. So we talked about some staffing and voting issues for the 4th and the Special Olympics, which has been going on. Big thanks to the folks who were involved with that, and that was a lot of fun being a part of that too, guys. So thank you there. All right, well then I'll let you go unless you have
Thank you
anything
so
else to
much.
pass
Hey,
along for the rest- be safe this
throw in
weekend.
some advertisement there for the tribe, the Squaxin Island tribe, for assisting us on our own run, having a spot out there, and then the folks at Alderbrook. Just so you know, those folks that are running, those from the other agencies, during the day when they stop, it's not like they're stopping at really great accommodations. They're eating on the run whatever they can get down to go to the next one, and to have the final leg stop for them at the Alderbrook, and they were out on the lawn, and Alderbrook served a beautiful dinner out
Oh,
there.
nice.
One of our speakers was a tribal council person, Dave Whitener from the Squaxin tribe, who really neat. Dave was a deputy for us years ago, so it was
Oh,
really neat to
cool.
have that Squaxin represented. But thank you so much to those businesses and all the citizens that contributed this year, and we're going to keep going towards next year. What a great cause.
Yeah.
And thank
Very
you guys
cool.
for covering
Thank you
that,
for
too.
covering it. Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
you guys
It
for
was fun.
keeping us safe.
Thanks so much.
746 at I-Fiber 1.